Is this thing on? Y'all can hear me okay? Awesome. Well, good afternoon. Thanks for joining the session. This is going to be a quick 10 to 15 minute overview. My name is Andrew Speck, as mentioned, and I lead a team of practitioners that come from procurement, which we call our Global Category Management Center of Excellence team at Coupa. And I'm going to quickly talk about how we bridge strategy and technology. So I wanted to start with this quote because I really like this theme that, according to Gartner, category management and supplier management are going to become the dominating streams of value for procurement. But the challenge in most organizations and a lot of the clients that I work with is success in category management is episodic. Most of the times we have a few key category managers that are doing great things, delivering great value, and we're depending on them doing that year over year. But how about the rest of the group? And when you think about those key category managers that have all of this critical knowledge, what happens when they leave your organization? Does that knowledge go with them? Do their strategy and the history leave with them? The unfortunate answer is most of the time, yes. And the reason that we see that happening is because when you look at category management today, and this theme of how do we go from an organization that is very manual in the way they run their processes, when we look at category management is no different. The way it's done is the old-fashioned way. We're using PowerPoint slides. I used to work at an organization where we had a 132-page deck that we used to build our category strategies, and it was a very big challenge to get our teams to use it and build it at scale. And when we look at this, the reason that it's so done inconsistently is because when you look at a PowerPoint deck, this requires a person to have a deep understanding of a methodology. We require them to understand what's going on in the market, what's happening with the business, and then look at how do you pull all of that information together, and depending on your own years of experience, your own skill set, be able to derive a strategy from there. It's a very challenging topic, and I think it's one of the key reasons that it doesn't get done today properly, because it's not easy. So one of the things that I want to talk about today is how do we go from a very important topic to be able to do this at scale, leveraging technology, and really raise the maturity level of all of the category managers in an organization so they can all be delivering high quality results. We need to move away from PowerPoint, spend more of our time focused on the execution of a strategy than spending our time looking at data and trying to come up with insights. So before I jump into how we're able to do that, one of the things that I've seen at a lot of organizations is we have a lot of data at our fingertips. And one quote that I heard a few years ago that I really love is that as procurement teams, sometimes we are drowning in data, but we're starving for insights. And again, how do we then look at that data? And what we see so often happening is category managers looking at data and then immediately going to running sourcing events. And they're almost skipping that most important piece in the middle there, which is the bridge to looking at data and then executing a maybe sourcing event. It's all about building that strategy. And that's where we're going to excel. So today I'm going to talk about a simple tool called Coupa Category Strategy. If anybody ever heard of the organization called Certuo, that's actually where I came from. We were a startup that was acquired by Coupa last year, and really now entering that ecosystem to help bridge that gap from a lot of great tools, a lot of data. How do we build a great strategy and then derive a go-to-market plan from there? So what you're going to see, I wanted to pull this picture up here because this is giving you a little bit of a look of the brains behind the operation. And we talk about building technology that scales and can help category managers across the world, regardless of their skill set or their years of experience, building high quality strategies. What they're actually able to leverage now is technology, which actually, just like you see here on the slide, was designed with one simple purpose in mind: make category strategy and supplier strategy creation available to everybody, regardless of where they're at in their journey, and make it easy to go through the process. So as an organization, we spent the last 18 years building this technology, and it's based on the blueprint of what does great category management look like. So the way that this is actually going to work, and what you'll find is the tool is designed to guide a category manager through that journey of building a category strategy. No longer are we going to require them to come in with that years of experience, that skill set on here's how I can look at the external market, understand and align with my key stakeholders. What are their requirements? Couple that, what is the actual category that we're managing, and be able to build a strategy from there? No, all they need to do is leverage the technology, and it's gonna guide them through step by step, almost in an interview style format, to make sure that at the end of the day, we leave no stone unturned and have everybody following the very similar and rigorous process to do all the proper analysis, and then having the benefit of AI and leveraging that AI to look at all of this analysis, almost be that co-pilot, that digitized consultant sitting next to each category manager to say, you're drowning in data, and based on all the information that you've told me, here's the actual strategy recommendation that you can execute that's gonna help you deliver value. Maybe drive cost reduction, drive innovation, or even focus on risk mitigation, and help you then translate that into a key set of objectives that you're gonna go out and execute and ultimately deliver the value that you set out to achieve at the beginning of building this category strategy. So we don't have too much time today, and I'm not gonna go into any sort of demo or walkthrough, but the whole idea here is, how do we take what is a very important process, couple it with technology, give everybody a solution that can make it very easy to go through the process, where they can all be building these high quality category strategies. And I know we're short on time because we had to go a little bit over. So one of the key things that, as I've just been doing this now over the last 6 years, is working with different organizations. I see there's really 5 key areas that they're able to deliver value. The first 2, I really like these because it's not about implementing a technology for the technology's sake. It's bringing in that capability to allow the category managers to do this at scale, so they can actually build a category strategy much faster, get to those insights and recommendations, and therefore what we're actually able to do is cover more of our spend with key category strategies and key supplier strategies, helping us unlock that value that in the past we just didn't have time to get to, and actually have the benefit of the system and that AI engine help translate what is that data into key recommendations where you're gonna drive that value and be able to go execute from there. But then as we go down this process, I think one of the reasons that we see category strategies not actually performing in the real world is because they're born in isolation. We don't actually build category strategies aligned with stakeholders. And when we're doing it in PowerPoint, we can skip steps. We can enter the information that we have and build a strategy from there. But leveraging a technology like this, it's actually gonna force the process by design and have a category manager align with a stakeholder at the very beginning. Make sure that they're ingrained in the process as we go down the journey. So we're mobilizing the stakeholders as we go. We're raising the maturity level of the team as they go through this process. They start to build great strategies, they see recommendations, the tool helps them build presentations to go sell this to internal stakeholders, to leadership, and then we repeat the process. And at the end of the day, one of the best things that ends up happening is you're now taking all of that critical category knowledge that I would guess in most of your organizations is in the heads of your category managers. And they're now building it into a tool in a way that helps you scale that knowledge. So when someone leaves the organization or someone new joins the team, they're able to pick up where that last person left off instead of trying to open up an old PowerPoint deck and looking at what the person had done and try and replicate it. So these are some of the results that we're seeing. And I think the last thing that I wanted to end on today is we think about a chief procurement officer and a team of leaders. How do we now move beyond just being the core focus on cost reductions, transactional efficiencies, and what we said here, how do we become that chief value officer and enabling our teams to orchestrate this value at scale? And we could do so by leveraging technology and the team we have today and helping them build category strategies, not on their own, not with PowerPoint, but with a tool acting as a co-pilot and guiding them on the journey. So with that, I don't even know if we have time for questions. Thank you all for your attention and enjoy the rest of the conference.